Hey friends, my name is Trevor and I'm co-lead pastor of The Table, a house church network.
My name is Ryan Alba. I'm the co-lead pastor at The Table, a house church network in Mesa, Arizona.
I've grown up in the church for the last 29 years of my existence. Both my mom and my grandfather were pastors in the Nazarene church. I've been pursuing my call since my sophomore year of high school. And it's been up and down because I'm a selfish person who wants to do things my way. But God has really corrected my path and laid it very firm into my heart that I am supposed to be a pastor to families, from birth to retirement, the people of all areas of life. That I am not just to be a senior pastor or a youth pastor, but a pastor who loves and cares for his neighborhood and community. Some of my more recent experience in ministry has been with Tempe Nazarene Church in Tempe, Arizona. I've been able to be a youth pastor there at that awesome church for the last 5 years, where I was blessed by multiple pastors and leadership, and I'm super thankful for the support that they've given us into launching The Table.
My wife and I kind of went through this long process of being called to ministry. We lived in Kansas City for a while, where I worked in IT at the Nazarene Publishing House and also attended seminary. In late 2012, I started interviewing for a position in Northern California, and we moved out there at the beginning of 2013, where I was a youth pastor for 4.5 years. In 2017, God called us to Mesa, Arizona, where I served as an associate youth pastor at Mesa First Church of the Nazarene for almost 4 years.
About 2 years ago, Ryan and I met in a Panera Bread where we got to sit down and talk about our ministries, our visions, where we currently were at our previous churches, Tempe and Mesa. And you wouldn't believe it. Ryan would say something and it was already on my heart. And I would repeat something back and it was already on his. God was aligning the vision of his dream of The Table into Ryan and I's hearts in totally different areas of our lives. I had just sidely talked to my district superintendent, Doug, about what church planting looked like. He sent us to a church planters conference, and before we knew it, we were in it, and we were planting and planning and figuring out all of the little details that were to come, that God had something so much bigger planned than we could ever imagine.
What would it look like if we actually did love each other the way that Jesus said? What would happen if we tried to focus small instead of trying to grow big? What would happen if we placed community at the heart of what the church is?
Here at The Table, we want to begin to change the culture of neighborhoods, not just to become another church that is there doing great things, but a church that goes forth and begins to change the community in which it's planted. So each one of our locations will challenge its members to get to know their neighbors, so that when someone needs a cup of sugar, they know that you're the person to go to because you'll have it for them. Or when it gets a little tough and someone needs their kids to be watched because they've got someone in the hospital. Or maybe they can't make a bill and their mortgage is going to be tight, that The Table can help them, that The Table will be there to serve them.
A house church is just what it sounds like. It's a place where you have church within a house. It's designed to be smaller groups so that you can get to know people on a more intimate level.
First 3 Sundays, we share The Table at our homes. And that's multifaceted. We start with dinner at The Table, and then we go into a time of worship through music or prayer or liturgy. And into that, we go into a sermon, which is always cut short because it's the discussion that takes place between the community of people that's so important. We then wrap it up with communion, the Eucharist, The Table. We like to say it's bookending our services with The Table. Every 4th Sunday, we get to gather together at the New Hope Community Center to have a more traditional service. We still have dinner before and get to share The Table, but we go into a time of worship and sermon in a larger facility where all of our houses get to gather together.
At The Table, our mission statement is gathering at the table as a community of Christ to serve and love together. And what this means to me is that we aren't just a community that comes together and loves each other, but we also focus on service. One of the ways we do that is every 5th Sunday, we do a service project where we purposely go outside of our walls and we serve others. And even though we just launched on August 29th, we already did our very first service project where we went and we painted the inside of the New Hope Community Center.
And so I'm so excited to continue our mission and our vision throughout these next years of service. In fact, our goal is to have 30 house churches within the next 10 years.
So if you're looking for a new community where you can get to know people more intimately and you can have an opportunity to be vulnerable and to be loved by others, we would love to welcome you. One of the things that we say at the table is there's always room for one more.
I want to invite you to join us at one of our many locations. Currently, Chrisman and Southern being one of our locations, and Broadway and Sauceman, from 5 p.m. to 7 each and every Sunday at one of those houses. Or maybe you just want to come on that fourth Sunday at the New Hope Community Center. We'd love to have you there at our 5 to 7 p.m. service for dinner and worship. I love our church and everything that it stands for so many different reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is that I get to celebrate church and family every single day. This whole mindset has begun to shift with me in these past couple of years as we planted from what church was in my head to what it is now. Before, church was the place that I used to show up to. Now, I'm the church. My family's the church. Our neighborhood is the church.